Hello, everybody, and welcome to the British Pokemon League Championship show, the first ever. It's week number 1, it's a new season, and we have something new. There are 2 divisions. There is a Premiership and a Championship division. My name is Drayko. You will see me on the Premiership show as coach of the Swindon Rookies. I'm doing double time this season. I am here hosting a Championship show for you guys. We have 8 teams. 4 matches every week for 14 weeks. They play each other twice. And it should be a very, very, very exciting season ahead. The way the league is going to work is that the top 4 teams are going to be up for promotion to the Premiership. Top 2 automatically promoted. The 3rd and 4th place will have to play a promotion playoff game to see if they make it into the Premiership division against either 9th or 10th from the Premiership. So, without further ado, I say let's meet the teams. Let's see who is in the first ever TBPL Championship. Here we have the 8 teams. There are 4 teams returning from last season. The Scuba Squirtles, coached by Niels. The California Bastiodons, coached by Oma. The Knights of Sidonia, coached by Jabba. And the Tyranitar Tyrants, coached by Silver. There are 4 brand new teams in the Championship. We have 4 new teams in the Premiership and 4 in the Championship. They played qualifier games to see which team would be in which division. So the 4 new teams are the Pummeling Licky Lickies, coached by Ted, the Kyogre Canucks, coached by Rylect, the RazzleDazzleSalazzles, one of the best team names ever, coached by Joe, and the DragoKnights, coached by Cage Dragon. So yes, they will play 14 games each. They will play each other twice. And fight for promotion into the Premiership. So let's see how they match up for the first week. Here we have the schedule for this week. Up first is the RazzleDazzleSalazzles versus the DragoKnights. Joe and Cage Dragon know each other very, very well. So this should be an interesting matchup to see. Should be very good. Up next, we have the California Bastiodons versus the Scuba Squirtles. Both teams were in the Premiership last season. I can't remember if they played each other. They might have done. As you know, the Scuba Squirtles subbed in for Latvian, who had to unfortunately drop last season. But yeah, they may have played each other. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, California Bastiodons, Scuba Squirtles, fighting for promotion back into the Premiership, where they got relegated from last season. Oma beat Niels last season. Okay, yeah, I thought they played each other. I couldn't remember if they did or not. Okay, thank you. So yeah, Niels will be looking for revenge here. I'm sure he will be. Up next, the Knights of Sidonia, coached by Jabba, versus the Kyogre Canucks, coached by Rylect. Jabba obviously not having the best of seasons last season. Looking to get promoted back into the Premiership, hoping to have a better season this time around. With Rylect being new around here, he is hoping to prove himself as a top contender and get promoted. And finally, to round off the show today, the Pummeling Licky Lickies and the Tyranitar Tyrants. Ted and Silver will be playing each other. This should be a very good game. Both players very, very good, so I'm sure we are all looking forward to that. So I say, without further ado, let's get into our first game. We have the RazzleDazzleSalazzles versus the DragoKnights. Both teams here look very, very good. Let's talk about Joe's team first, the RazzleDazzleSalazzles. He is bringing Salamence, which is a very, very strong Pokemon. Obviously got Intimidate or Moxie as its abilities, and the ability to Mega, gaining the Aerialate ability. This is a very, very strong Pokemon, especially in its Mega form. could be paired next to that Whimsicott as well, with its prankster shenanigans like Tailwind or Fake Tears, to really put the pressure on Cage Dragon here and do a lot of damage. We see the Regigigas on Joe's side, as well as, if you look further down, the Wheezing Galar. Obviously, Wheezing, with its neutralizing gas ability, is able to negate all other abilities on the field, including Regigigas' slow start, meaning that Regigigas is an absolute monster when it is paired next to Wheezing. This is something that Cage Dragon will have to take into account and deal with when prepping, and I'm sure he'll have a plan, but that Regigigas is so strong. Banette as well. Banette has the opportunity to Mega Evolve with the Prankster ability that it gains. This could be very annoying to deal with. See, we saw Big Dog Dave last season with the Mega Banette, and he made very good use of that, so we'll see what Joe does with it. Excelgor gains the Unburden ability, among others, with its very high speed stat and priority as well. So should be interesting to see what he makes of that. Electros with the Levitate ability, meaning it has no weaknesses unless you get rid of that Levitate, which is very, very strong indeed. Magneton as well. Good electric type, good defensive Pokemon with an Eviolite. I've made use of it before in Season 2, so I know a lot about that Pokemon. It's a really good Pokemon for him to pick up. Vaporeon as well. Very, very bulky. Should be good. Kecleon against the Protean ability, much like Greninja, being able to change its type with each move that it uses. And Throw as well is a very good fighting type to have in lower tiers. Moving on to Cage Dragon's team, the DragoKnights. We see the DragoKnights. Dragonite is very good. It sets up Tailwind. Multi-scale makes it pretty bulky early on. Very good coverage as well. Followed up with Espeon. Espeon, I don't know too much about. I know it's a very, very good Pokemon. It's got good utility. Fairly bulky, I believe, as well. So be interesting to see how he uses the Espeon. Gallade and Mawile as well, both have the potential to Mega. Mawile gaining huge power, making it a very strong physical attacker with the same typing as Zacian Crowned. So Joe will have to look out for that, as well as the Mega Gallade, which I believe gets Inner Focus as its ability, which means it cannot be flinched, which is very nice to have. Mimikyu, I love Mimikyu, so good. Disguise is an amazing ability, just taking a free hit, as well as being either a very good physical attacker or more supporting Pokemon with Trick Room and Will-O-Wisp. Very, very nice. I used this thing last season, it's so fun to use. Rhyperior, very bulky, very powerful. Rock and Ground type plus the Lightning Rod ability as well. That will be directing all electric attacks to it. Very, very nice to have. Sableye, very good prankster Pokemon. This thing is annoying. Prankster Quash is something that you have to look out for, among other things such as Will-O-Wisp, for example. This thing can be very annoying. Scrafty, very good Pokemon. Intimidate or Moxie, I believe. Much like Salamence on the other side, is a very, very good Pokemon. Can be quite strong. Colossal. Even though there's no Dynamax this season, Colossal is very good to have and can even have a weakness policy procced by Salamence, or not Salamence, sorry, Dragonite using Surf. Would probably do a lot of damage to it. However, be able to max your speed and then double your attacks is so, so powerful. Mismagius, I'm not too sure about. I don't know much about Mismagius. It's a good ghost type, can be quite annoying. And Krokorok as well, being kind of like a mini crocodile with intimidates and stuff like that. Well, I'm going to stop waffling now. Without further ado, let's get into the match. Here we see Joe starting off with Throw and Regigigas, and Cage Dragon starting with Scrafty and Sableye. Scrafty using a Dragon Dance, taunt on the Regigigas. Will-O-Wisp now onto the Throw. Knockoff gets rid of Regigigas' leftovers while the Throw uses Coaching, and Rockslide just chips away. Just chips away at the Scrafty and Sableye. Drain Punch now KOs the Regigigas from the Scrafty, and it is Moxie as well, so we'll get another bonus. The Circle Throw just sends it right back into Gallade. Salamence Megas and Gallade Megas as well. Will-O-Wisp misses the Salamence as Hyper Voice gets a critical hit on the Gallade. Not sure if that mattered, but it did take out the Gallade and do a lot to the Sableye. Quash comes out, making that Salamence move last. As Rockslide cuts it in half. Throw gets flinched while Salamence hits. Protect comes out from the Salamence, blocks the Quash and the Avalanche, while Throw Circle throws Rhyperior right back into Scrafty, losing its buffs from Dragon Dance and Moxie. Scott comes in as the Sableye misses again. That is crucial. That's unfortunate. Salamence takes out both Scrafty and Sableye as Dazzling Gleam takes out Rhyperior, and it is 1-0 for Joe and the RazzleDazzleSalazzles. What can Caged Dragon do here? What can the DragoKnights do? They switch it up. They do with Mimikyu and Sableye. We see the Worry Seed into a protected Regigigas. Not sure if that's how Joe saw that going. Nevertheless, he Worry Seeds again, getting rid of Regigigas' slow start. That's another way to get rid of that ability. As he Rock Polishes to become very, very fast, doubles its speed, protects from the Will-O-Wisp and the Poliwrath. As Dazzling Gleam hits the Sableye, cutting it by a third and popping the Disguise. Shadow Sneak then deals a bit of damage to the Whimsicott as a Rock Slide hits them both but misses the Sableye, and then Dazzling Gleam does a little bit, while Foul Play does some damage to the Regigigas. Stun Spore misses the Mimikyu. Quash makes the Regigigas move last, while Leech Life hits the Regigigas, missing the Sableye with a Rock Slide again. There's a lot of misses in this game. Regigigas protects. The Stun Spore finally hits the Mimikyu, and the Will-O-Wisp finally hits the Whimsicott. That's some leftover HP to regain. Kecleon comes in for the Whimsicott. Quash makes Regigigas moves last, and the Mimikyu is paralyzed and also dodges the Rock Slide, but Sableye gets KO'd. In comes Scrafty now. Scrafty and Mimikyu get hit with a Rock Slide. Scrafty flinches. Mimikyu bulks up again. Drain Punch. Kecleon turns into a fighting type with Protean and does a lot of damage to Scrafty. Shadow Sneak becoming a ghost type. Super effective critical hit. That could have mattered with the defense buffs. As Rock Slide takes out the other Pokemon. Rhyperior now. Got it all left to do. Metal Burst. Metal Burst. That's a very interesting choice of move. It does take out the Regigigas. Metal Burst fails this time around as the Drain Punch hits Kecleon. And that is a 2-0 win to Joe and the RazzleDazzleSalazzles as they go 1-0 at week 1, off to a flying start. I think there was a slight bit of luck involved. There was a lot of misses that game, and there was a couple of crits that could have mattered, especially at the end there with the Shadow Sneak onto the Mimikyu from the Kecleon. Nevertheless, congratulations to Joe, doing a fine job at getting off to a good start this season. Commiserations to Cage Dragon, obviously. That was a bit of an unfortunate game. A few misses and a few crits could have lent the match in the way of Joe. However, I'm sure Cage Dragon won't let that get the better of him. He'll come back next week with a great match, I'm sure. So, up next, we've got an interesting match. It is the California Bastardons versus the Scuba Squirtles. This is a rematch of sorts. They played each other last season, with Oma coming out on top. So Niels is looking for a bit of revenge here. As we look at the teams, we look at the California Bastardons, we look at Oma's team and see it's very Oma. It's very similar to what we've seen the past 2 seasons he's been here. The Metagross, the Aerodactyl, the Chandelure, and the Hitmontop, all familiar faces for Oma. We're seeing now Mega's involved, and we don't know what he could Mega. He could Mega the Metagross one week, the Aerodactyl the next, and that camera up you see down at the bottom there, he could Mega that even. Who knows? He's got a lot of options with this team, but it is very familiar to him. Obviously, we've seen Metagross paired with Aerodactyl a lot. Under Oma's coaching, we've seen the Hitmontop and the Chandelure before. Those are both very good Pokemon. Chandelure with Flash Fire as a very, very good ability, getting a fire immunity. Could be a good switch in from Metagross into Chandelure, expecting a fire type attack. Hitmontop as well, good pivot Pokemon. We've seen it used more often than not with the Eject Pack. Obviously it has Intimidate, it has Fake Out, Wide Guard as well, I believe. This Pokemon is very, very good at what it does. Other Pokemon we see here, we see Ludicolo, which you see his team, he doesn't have an outright rain setter. There isn't anything with Drizzle or Prankster Rain Dance. Maybe he's trying to use other people's rain teams to his advantage. Who knows? Nevertheless, it's a good fake out Pokemon anyway, and it can be very, very annoying as well. We see Ninetales Alola able to set up hail rather than rain for Ludicolo. Got Aurora Veil, so it sets up screens really nicely and could be a very good attacker at sometimes as well. Getting moves such as Blizzard and Dazzling Gleam and stuff like that. Galvantula. Galvantula's interesting. Galvantula's a good bug electric type. It's Compoundize as an ability, so boosts accuracy for moves such as Thunder, which could be very, very good to see. Lycanroc Midday. Very fast Pokemon. Very, very good, in my opinion. This can be very fast, very annoying. Good rock type attacker. Xatu as well. Good flying type, good psychic type. It gets screens, it gets tailwinds, if I'm not mistaken. Good support Pokemon. I've looked at this thing, the drafts at some points. It looks very, very good. Camera up, like I mentioned before, has the opportunity to Mega. Very strong if it Megas. You've got to deal with it. Otherwise, it is just going to tear your team apart. As well as the Maractus. Maractus with Storm Drain. Could see that paired up with the Camerupt, to draw water attacks away. Because I see Camerupt is 4 times weak and does not like a water type attack. So you could see that pairing coming around. As we look towards Niels' team, we see the Marshadow, which Aaron used last season to win the entire league. Marshadow, very quick, very strong attacker, and its Spectral Thief signature move, as well as stuff like Shadow Sneak with Technician as its ability. This thing is very, very strong. See Sylveon as well. Sylveon is a very good Pokemon, very good special attacker, good fairy type as well, which is important for a lot of teams to have. This is probably one of the better fairy types to pick up, so Niels has made a good pick here. Volcanion as well. We've seen Volcanion before with Matstar. So Matt has used this thing before, so I'm sure he knows more about it than I do. But it's got unique typing, fire and water, which is very good to see. As well as Steam Eruption. Breloom, we've seen some great moments with Breloom. Rewind back to when Silly used it to absolutely tear through Crizzle's South Korean Soars last season in playoffs. This thing, don't underestimate it, because it will be very, very deadly if you do ignore it. Decidueye, a good ghost type, good grass type, long reach ability, being able to basically not make contact. So abilities such as Flame Body or Static won't affect it, which is good quality to have, as well as decent coverage as well. Sylvally is interesting with the RKS system ability, being able to change its type depending on what drive it uses. I wonder what type we'll see Niels lose if he chooses to bring it. We see Delphox here. Delphox, I believe it gets Magician as its ability, so it can steal items, which is interesting to have. As well as moves such as Mystical Fire, Psychic as well, very good special attacker. Toxtricity being a poison electric type. We like to see this thing use its signature move Overdrive, or something like Boom Burst with a Throat Spray. With its Punk Rock ability. I believe it's called Punk Rock. Yeah, I think it is. But this thing is very, very good. Teb Striker as well is another good electric type attacker. As we see Grookey. Grookey is there. More of like, it sets terrain. Give it an Eviolite, it's kind of bulky. It's very, very small Rillaboom, as I like to see it. Underneath that we see finally the Walrein. It's a D-tier Pokemon, Water Ice type, so it's got a bunch of weaknesses. However, it is it's very deadly if you underestimate it. So, without further ado, I say let's get into the match. As we see here, Aerodactyl and Metagross versus Walrein and Volcanion. There we go, sorted out the sound issues there. Walrein and Volcanion for Niels, and Aerodactyl and Metagross. They're already playing the mind games with the nicknames as Bulldoze comes out from the Aerodactyl, Gunna Mega and Gunna Mega. The weakness policy, so it's not the Metagross that's Gunna Mega. However, Earthquake takes out Volcanion, does a lot to Walrein, and the Walrein responds, nearly taking out the Aerodactyl. Marshadow comes in here. Marshadow could be deadly here. Metagross needs to be careful of a ghost type attack coming from that Pokemon. It's very, very strong. I reckon a Shadow Sneak is definitely in range of KOing with Technician. Wonder how Oma's gonna deal with it. Spectral Thief steals the weakness policy boost and takes out the Metagross. Oh no, that's not good. But Oma does set up Tailwind before getting KO'd by the Walrein. In comes Ninetales and Maractus. Ninetales and Maractus come in. Wonder what Oma is going to do here. There is a +2 Marshadow on the other side that he has to deal with. That thing needs to be dealt with. Roravel comes out as the Ice Punch KOs the Maractus through the veil. Rockslide does half. Cuts the HP in half on the Ninetales, and I think this may take it to a 1-0 in favour of Niels, unless... No. I was going to say, unless there's a miraculous comeback. However, there is 1-0 to Niels. That Marshadow doing a lot of work for him. As we see Lumiere And Gunner Mega, the Aerodactyl, versus Warrain and Volcanion. Niels has said if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and is sticking with his guns with that lead. I wonder what Oma will do here, if that Aerodactyl is the Mega, or if it's the Camerupt in the back. We know it's not the Metagross, as it has weakness policy. Didn't see anything from the Volcanion last game. It just got KO'd before it could do anything, so I wonder what is in store with that. Obviously. Well, here we go. Aerodactyl Megas. It is the Aerodactyl that Megas. The Rock Slide misses the Warrain, but hits the Volcanion as a burn from Heat Wave. Comes into the Warrain before getting Steam Eruptioned down. Aerodactyl doesn't take as much damage from the Waterfall as last time because of burn. Now in comes Metagross here. If he decides to proc the weakness policy with Bulldoze, if Oma decides to do that, then he'll do a lot more damage to his Metagross, with it being Mega Aerodactyl rather than regular Aerodactyl. It'll be interesting to see how he plays this one out, if he maybe waits for Niels to proc his own weakness policy. Be interesting to see here. Rockside comes out into Volcanion, taking it out, and miss the Warrain there as Waterfall hits into Aerodactyl. Marshadow comes in here. Let's see. If he Spectral Thieves the Metagross again, it won't gain the boosts because they're just not there for him to steal. Warrain on the same HP as the Aerodactyl and burned. Spectral Thief nearly KOs the Metagross as Tailwind is set up, and an Iron Head just gets rid of that problem, gets rid of the Marshadow. As Waterfall finally takes out the Aerodactyl, as Camerupt comes in, and Silvally Steel type. It is a Steel type Silvally. An Earthquake from the Metagross takes everyone out, and that is 1-1. That Earthquake just KO'd everyone. It just got rid of everyone. I mean, that's one way to pick up a win. Here we see Volcanion and Marshadow versus Aerodactyl and Metagross. Let's see what we have here. The Aerodactyl gonna Mega straight away. Or are we gonna see another Bulldoze to proc the weakness policy? Could see a Tailwind as well. That Marshadow does outspeed the Aerodactyl as well, which doesn't normally happen. But it's interesting to see. The Aerodactyl Megas, Marshadow protects, as well as the Metagross, fairly safe from both players. The Wing Beat goes into the Marshadow as Aerodactyl gets burned by a Heat Wave from Volcanion. Let's see what is going to happen here in the next turn. It was a fairly passive turn from both players. Fairly safe from both of them, protecting their primary attackers, Metagross and the Marshadow. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously, Aerodactyl being burned isn't going to do as much damage as he would normally with Rock Slide or the Wing Beat, as we saw it attempt to use. Both players thinking very hard about what they want to do. So let's see. We're in a game 3 state. It's very interesting. Neither Omar or Niels want to make a mistake. Lumiere comes in for Metagross and just gets wiped out by a Spectral Thief as Aerodactyl sets up Tailwind and Canyon continues to Heatwave. Ninetales comes in setting up Hail. You could say maybe that Oma is setting up for a Metagross sweep of sorts. Rock Slide comes in, misses Volcanion, hits Marshadows. Marshadow answers back. While Aurora Veil was set up and Steam Eruption into the Ninetales. Oma left with just Metagross and Ninetales, while Niels has all 4 left. Canyon, the Marshadow, and whichever 2 Pokemon are left. As we see one of them, it's the Walrein. Dazzling Gleam comes out, just chips away at both. Rock Slide chips away at both opposing Pokemon as well for Oma. As Heatwave comes out, it's super effective on both. Procs the weakness policy, but takes out Ninetales in the meantime. Metagross has it all left to do. Obviously the weakness policy is making a difference as both Volcanion and Walrein go down. There is no Tailwind anymore for Oma, no speed control, which means that Marshadow will outspeed. Zit comes in as well as Steel-type Silvally, as the Spectral Thief is there. Steals the stats. And that's all she wrote. 2-1. 2-1 to Niels there. That was a very, very good game. I really enjoyed watching that. That was interesting. Both teams played it fairly well. Both teams played very well, actually. The Metagross and the Aerodactyl and the Camerupt all having the same nicknames. It was amazing. Just added to the mind games. From Oma to Niels. Nevertheless, Niels did pick up the victory, did get the revenge from last season. Congratulations to him. Commiserations to Oma. That was an unfortunate loss, but I'm sure with your ability and your team, you will come back stronger than ever next week. As we move on to the next match, the Kyogre Canucks versus the Knights of Sidonia. Kyogre Canucks, you immediately think Sun when you look at this team, with the Charizard and the Venusaur both on the same team. Obviously Charizard can set up Drought when it Megas into Mega Charizard Y. Also has the option to go into Mega Charizard X, which could be interesting to see. Venusaur obviously can also Mega as well. Would get rid of the Chlorophyll ability to double its speed in Sun, however, if you're not bringing the Sun, could be a viable option with its Thick Fat ability and the fact that it's very, very bulky, very difficult to take out. As well as Jirachi. Jirachi gets Follow Me and is based 100 across the board on stats. Very bulky, Follow Me user, good typing as well for it, Steel Psychic. That's a very good Pokemon. Rotom Wash. One of the better Rotom forms among Rotom Heat, and a lot of people consider Rotom Mo to be up there as well. I personally think Rotom Wash is the best one. Electric Water type is very, very good. Covers a lot of weaknesses, especially with Venusaur and Jirachi both being weak to fire. That Rotom Wash will help that out a lot. As we see Drifblim. I love Drifblim. I used this Pokemon for 2 seasons in a row. Lat used it before me. This thing is amazing. Unburden, being able to double its speed when it uses its item. I used it in a lot of fun ways, and I'm sure Rylect will know what he's doing with this thing, but I absolutely love what this thing does. Very good supporting Pokemon, but can also be a very good attacker. So we see Donphan. I don't know much about Donphan. It's a good ground type. Fairly bulky, I would assume, and could pack a punch as well. Persian Alola. Persian Alola gets Fur Coat as one of its abilities, which is a very nice ability to have. I need to take a drink, 1 second. Yeah, Persian Alola. Persian Alola. Gets stuff like Fake Out. I believe it gets stuff like Parting Shot. Yeah, Parting Shot. I think it gets Parting Shot. As well as a lot of other good supporting moves. This thing is very, very annoying to deal with. Togepi. Very good follow me user. I believe Rylect was looking to draft Togetic, but would have gone over by 5 points if he did, so he just took the Togepi instead. It does the same, nearly the same job. Follow me, Eviolite. Very, very good. He has 2 follow me users there as well. Chatot, normal flying type, immune to ground and ghost. Very, very good typing. Decent typing. Don't know much about Chatot, so we'll have to see what Rylect does with that. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He's got something up his sleeve. Jumpluff. Jumpluff's a quick Pokemon with Chlorophyll and Tailwind. Very good at speed control, this thing. Kind of on the frail side, but could be very, very useful for him. And Gligar. Gligar as well. Mini Gliscor here. Ground flying. Is it ground? Yeah, it's ground flying. Which is an interesting typing. So we see Jabba. Jabba's team has Deoxys Attack, which is an immediate threat. That thing is so powerful. It's very frail, but it's very powerful. So it'd be great to see what that thing can do. Paired up, especially with Tornadus Incarnate and Kingdra. Obviously, Prankster, Tailwind, and Rain Dance immediately come out from the Tornadus when you look at it. Paired alongside a Kingdra, that's something you see very, very often in BGC. You see Drayko there. Drayko is very, very nice. Bolt Beak, if it goes first, does a lot of damage, double power. And there's a lot of ways to make it do that. You have Tailwind, Prankster Tailwind. You can even put a Choice Scarf on it. Well, there is Sandstream from the baby Hippo, Hippopotas. Hippopotas has a soft spot in our hearts of the league. I know Matt doesn't like this thing after what it did to his Garchomp twice from the hands of Silly. However, amazing, amazing Pokemon. The Narm flashbacks indeed. Oh, that was amazing to see. The fissures. Nevertheless, we also see Durant, the Durant. Very, very strong Pokemon with Hustle. 4 times weak to fire though, but that is its only weakness. Copperajah is another steel type, very bulky, slow, but very, very powerful as well. Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee is very, very good. Gets Unburden as well, so can take advantage of stuff like terrain to double its speed with the correct seed. I wanted this thing in my team, but it got sniped, which is sad. But yeah, Hitmonlee is very, very good. Houndoom has the opportunity to Mega and could take advantage of Rylect's Sun with its solar power ability. And then you see Wartortle and Ivysaur, mini Kanto starters. We see there Wartortle obviously with Fake Out and Follow Me, as it is Natdex, and Ivysaur, basically Baby Venusaur. Let's get into this match, but before we get into this match, Jabba unfortunately couldn't participate in this match for reasons that I will not disclose. Those reasons are to him, and I'm going to keep that private with him. Jabba is okay. However, he has brought in a very, very special guest to take charge of this match. It is none other than the return of Jürgen Hopp. The man, the myth, the legend. He is back, taking the reins of Jabba's Knights of Sidonia. Being in the presence of this man is something else. It's a different feeling. Jürgen Hopp is an amazing player. As Jürgen Hopp, the Frenchman, leads with Tornadus and the Deoxys attack. What names from Jürgen Hopp? Chatot and Persian are led by Rylett. We see Jürgen Hopp Jürgen Hopp is carefully thinking. Jürgen Hopp is carefully thinking and decides to protect his Deoxys while the Tornadus is flinched from the Fake Out from the Persian, and Chatot tried to hit the Deoxys. However, protected. As Rain Dance and Thunder comes out, but that is a Focus Sash Chatot. So very nearly takes out the Deoxys. However, Chatter just finishes the job. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. A Chatot just KO'd a Deoxys attack under the reins of Jürgen Hopp. Who would have thought? So we see Drayko's ult swap in. Could we see a Bolt Beak from the Drayko's ult? Who knows what we're going to see here? After all, this is Mr. Hopp. Tailwind and a Bolt Beak nearly takes out the Persian as Icy Wind from the Persian slows them both down, and a Tailwind of Chatot's own. Hashtag Hopp Season 5. I'm hoping. I love this man. This man is great. Icy Wind slows the Tornadus and Drayko's ult down even further as Chatter confuses the Drayko's ult, and Chatot gets KO'd. Well, in comes Hitmonlee. Drayko's ult breaks through the confusion and takes out Persian. It is a 2v3 situation in Jürgen Hopp's favour on behalf of the Knights of Sidonia. Charizard and Donphan. Jolly Hopp takes this 3v2 easy, you would think. As Tornadus comes in, and that's a Mega Charizard X that just got Fake Outed, and the prediction that Jürgen Hopp made to block the high horsepower with the Tornadus. It's a very, very good turn from Mr. Hopp. Made a couple of good reads there. That Mega Charizard X is interesting. It means the rain stays up. Amazing plays from an amazing player. You don't get much better than Jürgen Hopp, that's for certain. Breaking Swipe does a lot of damage, including taking out that Tornadus. Close combat. nearly does half to the Donphan as Knockoff gets rid of the weakness policy on the Hitmonlee. In comes Drayko, all on its lonesome against a Donphan and a Mega Charizard X. This was Mr. Hop's fight to lose this one, and it looks like he may have lost it unless Drayko pulls off an amazing comeback. Okay, not really. Breaking Swipe takes out the Drayko as we go into game number 2. Did we see that Jirachi or the Rotom Wash, or even the Wartortle and the Durant? There's the Wartortle and there's the Durant, speaking it into existence as Persian and Donphan take the reign. It is Durant. Durant. Those players thinking carefully about what they want to do. Be interesting to see what both players do in this situation. Fake out into the Durant and into the Persian that fake out at the Durant as Knockoff gets rid of the Rindo Berry on Wartortle. The Rindo Berry there, expecting the Venusaur from Rylak, however, there is no Venusaur, so that is unlucky on the preparation side as Follow Me comes out from the Wartortle. Icy Wind, it's both the Durant and the Wartortle slowing them down as Rockside chips away at Weo's Pokemon's health. A classic hot misclick, yes indeed. A slight misclick there as Icy Wind comes out from Persian Sloan and both down even more, misses the Wartortle with the Rock Slide as X-Scissor takes out the Persian from Durantis. Haze! Very good play, getting rid of the speed drops from the Icy Winds. That is very, very good from Mr. Hop. Although his Pokemon are looking a bit worse for wear. Nevertheless, in comes the Charizard. And we now know that this is not the most common Mega Charizard Y, it is the Dragon type Mega Charizard X. Tough Claws ability. Very, very interesting from Rylak. Both players thinking very carefully about their next move. They do not want to make a mistake here, especially Jurgen Hop. He wants to keep this fight alive. Charizard Mega Evolves, Follow Me from the Wartortle into a Breaking Swipe. And the Rock Slide following it up, taking out both of the Knights of Sidonia's Pokemon. As in comes Deoxys attack, exerting its pressure, and the Drayko. Drayko got to be very careful if it is choice not to lock itself into Bolt Beak. Ice Beam comes out as Breaking Swipe is super effective, dropping the attacks on the Drayko and the Sash procced onto the Deoxys attack. Very frail this thing. RNG against the Hop. Possibly. One could argue that. 3v2 situation. All Pokemon on the field right now, not best to HP. Ice Beam goes into a protected Mega Charizard as a Rock Slide takes out the Deoxys attack. And it looks to be all over here, and it is Mr. Hop comes in for an absent Jabber and loses 2-0 to Rylect. It's unfortunate to see, you know, the glorious return of Mr. Hop, the glorious return after being absent since season 2. Yeah, season 2. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate to see. Nevertheless, it was great to see Weo back. It was great to see Mr. Hop back playing a game, and fingers crossed we see him again in the future of the British Pokemon League this season, and hopefully he returns for Season 5. Who knows? Who knows? Nevertheless, let's not take anything away from Rylect. Very, very, very good. Very well played from him. He played that amazingly well. The Mega Charizard X was a very, very good call from him. Would have probably played a lot better. It played a lot better than I would think the Mega Charizard Y would have if he ought to bring that. Dolphin, the Don fan put in a shift as well. I nearly said Dolphin. It's not Dolphin. The Don fan in a very good shift as well. Along with that Persian and the Chatot KOing a Deoxys attack. You never see it every day. We have one more match to show you guys, and that is the Pummeling Licky Lickies coached by Ted and the Tyranitar Tyrants coached by Silver. Ted is new this season, while Silver was relegated to the championship in one of the most unfair ways possible, in my opinion. At the end of season 3, the end of season 3, the Tyranitar Tyrants finished underneath the Shadow Kings on alphabetical order. Caused Silver to be relegated and Dogsy into playoffs. It's very, very unfortunate. However, nevertheless, he is back, and he has got a very, very strong team, Silver does, with the Blastoise and the Ferrothorn. Very bulky Pokemon. Blastoise, the opportunity to Mega. With the Mega Launcher ability, lots of pulse moves, getting a buff with that ability is very, very powerful. As well as the Ferrothorn. Very bulky Pokemon, plays into Silver's strengths. He loves bulky Pokemon that can, you know, play the long game, sort of stall out his opponent, whittle them down little by little until it's all over and he wins. Regidrago is also there with a base 250 HP stat. And the Dragon Energy attack is like Dragon type Eruption or Water Spout. It's so powerful unless you deal with it. Crobat returns to the Tyranitar Tyrants again from last season. Fast Tailwind setter, annoying with Toxic and other attacks. It's very, very good. Klefki is a very good prankster Pokemon, as well as Cottony. I remember Cottony. I remember using it last season. It's a mini Whimsicott, prankster Tailwind, and other shenanigans you can do with it as well. We see Pelipper able to set up Rain, and is a very good Pokemon as well. Dugtrio is surprisingly quick. It's a good ground type, and it can hit pretty hard as well. It also has Arena Trap, which is similar to Wobbuffet and Shadow Tag. Wobbuffet is obviously a fan favorite here, especially from Matt. It's a very, very good Pokemon. We see Cricketoon here. Cricketoon, there's an interesting story with this. Silver has made a friendly bet with Mr. Aaron T. Marshall. If Cricketoon gets 8 kills this season, I believe, wasn't it, Aaron has to buy a Cricketoon t-shirt or something like that? Or something like that, and then I think that was the bet. So it'll be interesting to see what this Cricketoon does, how it gets these kills, if it does. As well as Octillery, which is a veteran for the Tyranitar Tyrants. A very, very good Pokemon. With that Moody ability as well. As we see the pummeling Licky Lickies here. Ted is new this season. He is a very good coach from what I have heard. He has a very interesting team. Celesteela and Rillaboom as his two S-tier picks. Both Pokemon are very, very good. Celesteela is very bulky, gets access to stuff like Leech Seed and Flamethrower with really good coverage. Rillaboom, I'm sure we all know about Rillaboom. Setting up grassy terrain with grassy glides, fake out potential as well, knockoff, among other things this thing can do. Swampert has the potential to Mega. Gaining that Swift Swim ability could take advantage of Silver's Rain, if he so wishes. Comfey is a very, very interesting Pokemon. Could be there for some healing shenanigans, as he's got a fairly bulky team. With that Triage ability. Hydreigon is a very good special attacker with a lot of coverage. 4 times weakness to Fairy though, he's got to watch out for that. Roserade is an interesting Pokemon. Grass Poison type. Very, very good, in my opinion. I don't know much about it. But it gets decent coverage from what I've seen from this thing. Miltank is interesting as well. I'm not sure what Miltank does either. But I'm sure Ted knows what he's doing with it. As we see Riolu. Riolu with Prankster as its ability could set up some coaching shenanigans. Gets Follow Me. Can set up weathers as well. This thing is surprisingly good. I love this thing. Linoon as well. Linoon is very underrated and scary. Getting access to Extreme Speed, Stab, and Belly Drum as well. If you can get that going, it's pretty good. As we see Manectric and Pidgeot, 2 Pokemon in the lower tiers but can Mega. So that'll be very exciting to see what he does with them. Pidgeot obviously getting No Guard as its ability. Doesn't want to miss. Manectric, I believe, gains Intimidate as its Mega ability. Very, very good. Very good ability on top of getting Lightning Rod. Before that, we have one more match left, and I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's just get into it. Here we see both teams here. We see Riolu and Celesteela for Ted. And Ferrothorn and Cottony. Robbed by Rogers is the Cottony's ability. I think Silver is implying that he wanted Whimsicott, but it got robbed by Joe. As we see Flame Charge from the Celesteela as a Leech Seed goes into it. And was that a Roar that dragged out Crobat instead of Cottony, obviously? Ted doesn't seem to be a fan of the shenanigans that Cottony could pull off. say, as we see Ted and Silver thinking about what they want to do here. These two haven't met before in the British Pokemon League. Steeler swaps out for Manectric as the Barb protects itself. There's a coaching into the Manectric, whether that is a physical Manectric or a special Manectric, we are not sure yet. Nevertheless, that coaching will help either way with a defense buff. Could potentially buff the physical attack. Intimidate from the Mega Manectric comes out there. Follow Me attracts a Dual Wing Beat that just takes out the Riolu instantly as Thunderbolt brings the Crobat down to its focus sash. And Leech Seed there, Ferrothorn just sitting sturdy there. It is just sat there. It is not wanting to die. That thing is so bulky. And Celesteela again. Flamethrower just wipes out that Ferrothorn, and the Flame Charge takes out the Crobat. Ted is in a very good spot here now, as we see Cottony and RazzleDazzleSalazzles in for Silver. That comes out for the Manectric. Stun Spore paralyzes. Dragon Energy just chips away. The paralysis there. Just stuns the Celesteela, making it unable to move. Both players thinking about what they want to do here. Encored into Protect, and Dragon Energy does a lot of damage to both Pokemon. Air takes out the Cottony. It's a 1v2 situation here. Can RazzleDazzleSalazzles do it? Wide Guard comes out, and that Dragon Energy there, you would think the RazzleDazzleSalazzles is choiced. With the Wide Guard there. It is not, in fact, choice. It's the Drayko Meteor. Gets one last kill on the Celesteela before eventually being taken out by the Swampert, and it is 1-0 to Ted and the Licky Lickies. There it is. The Cricketune and the Wobbuffet, the Wobbuchef. Looking across from a Hydreigon and Swampert. Let's see if this Cricketune can get some kills on the board, get Aaron closer to losing the bat. There's a Perish song! As Cricketune is instantly taken out, Liquidation into the Wobbuffet. That's an Amnesia. The Wobbuffet with a Shadow Tag ability, meaning that Ted can't swap out Hydreigon or Swampert. Which means that they're stuck there, and if the Perish counter falls to 0, and that is 2 kills out of 8 for the Cricketune. Cotton comes in here. I think Ted should focus on getting rid of the Wobbuffet, being able to switch out Stun Spore paralyzes the Swampert. Heat Wave does a big chunk of damage to both Pokemon, and now Liquidation doing a decent amount to the Wobbuffet. parish counter falls to 2. Means that 2 turns away from Cricketoon getting 2 kills on the board. Attack comes out from the Cottony. Heatwave goes into the Wobbuffet and Charm into the Swampert once again, making that physical attack stat minuscule, as well as being paralyzed. Wobbuffet is still there, meaning that Ted can't switch, which means at the end of this next turn, both the Hydreigon and the Swampert will fall. Stun Spore, but Prankster moves don't affect Dark types. Heatwave takes out the Cottony as Liquidation takes out the Wobbuffet, as both the Hydreigon and the Swampert fall to the Perish Song. Cricketoon has 2 out of 8 kills. I hope you're watching, Aaron. He's a quarter of the way through. As in comes Ferrothorn, and we remember we've seen Ferrothorn get wiped out by a flamethrower from the Manectric, and that's exactly what has happened. Again, it is 2-0 to the pummeling Licky Lickies. It is 2-0. Silver unfortunately losing in week 1. Once again, he did last season. He unfortunately has this season. Commiserations. But I think he's taken away a moral victory here with the Cricketoon, picking up two kills. We love to see that. Nevertheless, congratulations, Ted. Great start to your first season in the British Pokemon League. Fantastic start. Very well played with the Manectric, Celesteela, Hydreigon and the Swampert as well. Whittling down Silver's Pokemon to just 1 with your Celesteela, and the Ferrothorn left. It's very, very well played from you. Those are the 4 matches this week. Let's have a look at how the table pans out. We see the pummeling Licky Lickies, Kyogre Canucks, and the RazzleDazzleSalazzles all with their wins and a +2 game difference. Niels with his win, however, a +1 difference because of his 2-1 win over the California Bastiodons and Oma, who are in 5th. Knights of Sidonia, the Tyranitar Tyrants, and the DragoKnights 6th, 7th, and 8th with a -2 game difference. The table after week 1, you can't really read much into it. You've only seen 1 game of each team, and it's still all to play for. It's still all to play for. This is going to be a very exciting season. I know that for sure. Yes, as Matt would say, still plenty of Pokemon left to play. However, that is it for me for this week. I will be back next week, Sunday at 7 PM, for week number 2, where we will see some great matches being played, I'm sure. I've been your host, Drayko, and until next week, have a great time. Take care. Bye.